ever feel like you're on autopilot? Like driving the same route, same work stress, even those same arguments with your partner?
Yeah, that feeling of being stuck, it's pretty universal.
It's like we're all kind of running the same loop, right?
It's interesting, though. There's this ancient Buddhist concept, Samsara, that offers a really different take on this whole feeling.
Samsara. Okay, that sounds kind of mystical.
It might sound that way at first, but bear with me. Samsara is often described as this cycle of, death and rebirth.
Okay.
But it's not just about physically dying and coming back. It's more about these mental and emotional cycles we get into, lifetime after lifetime.
So less about actual reincarnation and more about how our issues follow us around no matter how many times we move or change jobs.
Exactly. Our source material breaks samsara down into these 6 realms of existence. And one of them, the heavenly realm, sounds pretty amazing on paper. Pure bliss, endless pleasure.
Sign me up.
Right. But there's a catch.
There's always a catch. Let me guess, the wifey's terrible.
Even better. The catch is temporary.
Oh.
Eventually that bliss is going to fade, and you're back on the samsara merry-go-round.
Ugh, makes those spa days seem a lot less appealing. So if paradise is temporary in samsara, what are the other realms like?
Well, some are a little less appealing, like the hungry ghost realm. And it's not about, literal hunger. It's about this insatiable desire for something you can never quite reach, always chasing, never fulfilled.
Okay, yeah, that one's a little too real. I think we've all felt that I'll be happy when, and then you get it, and it's like, well, I need this other thing now.
Exactly. And then there's the Asura realm. Imagine a room full of people obsessed with power and status, constantly comparing themselves, never measuring up.
Oh, yeah, sounds like a toxic workplace I used to know. Are you saying those office dynamics are like a reflection of this Asura realm?
Think of these realms not so much as actual places, but as states of mind that we all kind of cycle through. The Asura realm just shows how even success, can lead to more suffering if you're driven by the wrong things.
So, where do humans fit into all of this?
That's the interesting part. Our source material actually highlights the human realm, with all its ups and downs, as the most conducive to becoming enlightened.
Really? I think hanging out with eternally blissful beings would be a faster track.
Maybe. But think of it this way. The human realm, with its mix of pleasure, pain, joy, sorrow, it gives you something those other realms don't.
What's that?
Contrast.
Okay. Intriguing. What does contrast have to do with enlightenment?
Well, it's in those moments of friction, the challenges, the disappointments, you really get to see yourself clearly and your reactions. That contrast helps us see our patterns, our attachments, and ultimately gives us the chance to break free.
So instead of wishing away the hard stuff, we can see those as chances to grow, learn, maybe even get off that samsara merry-go-round.
Exactly. And that brings us to another big concept.
Karma.
Karma. It's like one of those words everyone throws around, but no one really knows what it means.
You're right. It's definitely misunderstood.
Right. People think of it as cosmic punishment.
Yeah, like you do something bad and the universe is out to get you.
Exactly. But our source material actually suggests something totally different.
So not about racking up good deeds to balance out the bad. Part of me is relieved to hear that, honestly.
Think of it more like this. Every action you take kind of creates this energetic imprint, this ripple that influences your experiences later.
Okay.
It's cause and effect, but on the canvas of your consciousness.
I think I get it.
Imagine throwing a pebble into a pond, right? The ripples keep going even after the pebble sinks to the bottom.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like that.
But how does a pebble in a pond connect back to samsara?
Well, here's the really interesting part. Those ripples, the effects of our actions, they aren't always immediate.
Oh.
Sometimes they can echo across lifetimes and influence the patterns, the tendencies you're dealing with, even now, in this life.
Whoa. Okay, so something I did in a past life is affecting me now?
It's a pretty powerful way to look at those patterns we all have, the ones that feel really ingrained.
Deeply ingrained, yeah.
But here's the good news. Karma isn't a life sentence.
Okay, good.
It's not fixed, you create those ripples, but you can create new ones too. You can actually change your karmic path by what you do right now in this moment.
So I'm not doomed to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over.
Nope, not at all. You have way more agency than you think.
Okay.
You're not a puppet of some pre-written destiny.
That's good. I like hearing that. So how do we actually break free then?
Well, to really get free from samsara, you have to understand how those cycles are made.
Okay.
How they're sustained. And this leads us to another big idea in Buddhism,
Mm.
the 12 links of dependent origination.
12. Okay, that sounds a little more complicated than a ripple effect.
It sounds like a mouthful, I know, but it's actually a really useful way to look at things.
Okay.
Imagine a chain reaction. One event leads to the next, and it just keeps that samsara wheel spinning.
I'm picturing like a Rube Goldberg machine, but for existence itself.
That's not a bad way to think about it.
So what are some of the links in the chain?
Well, it all starts with ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance like you're not smart, but more like a lack of clear seeing, a misunderstanding of how things actually are.
Oh, okay.
Like not seeing the true nature of yourself, other people, the world, all of that.
We've all had those moments where it's like, man, if I knew then what I know now, that kind of ignorance.
Exactly. And because we don't see things clearly, it leads to the next link. Sankharas. These are like mental blueprints, but driven by that ignorance we're talking about.
Sankaras. Those sound important.
They really are. We're talking about these formations, these blueprints that guide your actions, even if those actions lead to more suffering down the line.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So ignorance leads to these sankharas, then what?
Well, those sankharas, those blueprints, they shape your consciousness, how you see the world, how you feel, your whole experience. And that then shapes your physical form, your senses, your experiences. It's a cycle.
And then it keeps going, huh?
It does, yeah. But there are two links in particular that really keep us tethered to samsara. Craving and clinging.
Oh, yeah, I'm very familiar with those two.
Right.
We're talking craving things we think will make us happy, the new phone, the promotion, the perfect life, and then clinging to it when we get it.
Yes. Clinging to people, possessions, ideas.
Even when they're not good for us anymore.
Yes.
Because
Exactly.
we crave the good, we push away the bad.
That grasping and resisting, that's what fuels it all.
The cycle just keeps going.
Keeps you hooked on that samsara roller coaster.
Thus, we have to stop craving, stop clinging. Easier said than done. But seriously, how do we even start? These habits feel so strong.
It's the $1,000,000 question, isn't it?
Right.
Luckily for us, so the deep dive doesn't end there.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways to unravel these patterns.
So craving and clinging are like the superglue keeping us stuck on this samsara ride, right?
It's a good way to put it.
So how do we get unstuck? Is there like a cosmic chisel we can use?
If there is, I haven't found it on Amazon yet.
Right.
But our source does offer a path, a way to navigate this craving and clinging.
Okay, lay it on me.
It's about seeing those 12 links, not as like a life sentence,
Okay.
but as a map,
Okay.
When you see how one link leads to the next, you can see where you usually get tripped up.
Right.
Like, for one person, it might be that first moment of ignorance,
Okay.
where they totally misread something
Right.
and react out of fear. Right.
Yeah.
And then for someone else, it might be getting caught in craving, always chasing the next good feeling.
The next dopamine hit. Could be anything. Online shopping, social media.
It really is all about self-awareness,
Yeah.
shining a light on those patterns so you can choose something different.
Recognize it in the moment. Make a different choice.
It's like, oh, there's that jealousy popping up again.
The worst.
Right. But instead of letting it take over,
Yeah.
you choose a different response.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, even that little pause, that awareness, it could make a difference.
100%. And it's not about being perfect overnight.
Right.
These habits, these patterns. We're talking about stuff potentially built up over lifetime.
Oh, great. That's what I want to hear.
But the important thing is to keep practicing.
Okay.
Keep paying attention. Just come back to that awareness again and again.
Awareness is step one. Where do we go from there? How do we actually break the links in the chain, get off the samsara merry-go-round? I know our source talks about the Noble Eightfold Path.
Yes, the Eightfold Path. Now, before you imagine like a hiking trail.
With snacks.
Yeah, exactly. With rest stops and everything.
Cosmic rest stop. I like it.
It's not quite like that. The Eightfold Path is more like a set of principles
Okay.
to guide you, to help you build wisdom and compassion, and to, weaken those chains of ignorance and craving that we've been talking about.
Less about snacks, more about, like, the inner work, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I can do that. So give me the highlights.
Well, we already touched on right mindfulness, being present, paying attention to your thoughts, your feelings, without judging.
Yeah, tough one.
It is a tough one.
Especially these days.
Yeah.
What else?
There's right speech, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Being mindful of the words you're using.
Oh, yeah. Big one for me. Especially, like, on social media. Sometimes I have to, like, walk away.
We've all been there, trust me. And then how about right livelihood?
Okay, what is that?
It means doing work that doesn't harm you or anyone else.
Interesting. So this isn't just, like, meditating on a mountaintop. It's about how we show up every day.
It's about weaving it into everything you do.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. We've talked a lot about this whole death and rebirth thing, but we haven't really talked about death itself.
It's a big topic for sure.
Kind of a scary one, right?
Understandably.
Everyone wants to know, but no one's ever come back to tell us.
Right. It's a mystery, even within Buddhism.
Right.
But what we do know is that your state of mind when you die.
Okay.
It's believed to really affect what happens next in the rebirth process.
Oh, okay. So if I'm like super angry, clinging to regrets in my final moments, that's going to follow me to my next life.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
Okay.
if you can approach death with peace, acceptance, maybe even some gratitude,
Yeah.
then you're setting yourself up for a much better transition.
Makes you think about how you're spending your days, for sure.
It really does. And that's the thing about samsara.
Yeah.
It's not just about, figuring out death. It's about appreciating this life right now.
It's a lot. I'm not going to lie. Karma, rebirth, the Eightfold Path. It's a lot to process, but I don't know. There's something kind of comforting about it, too.
What do you mean?
Like, even if we are all on this crazy samsara hamster wheel,
Right.
at least we're not alone.
That's a good way to look at it.
And the good news is we don't have to stay stuck.
Not at all.
We can change things.
One step at a time.
It makes you think about those repeating patterns we talked about at the beginning, like the work stress, the relationship stuff. What if those aren't just annoyances, but they're like chances to actually see samsara in action in our own lives?
It's a different way of looking at it, for sure.
Right. Like these patterns aren't random. They're like signs showing us where we can grow and learn and, I don't know, maybe break free.
I like that. It's like your own personal escape room.
Ooh, I like that.
But instead of escaping a room,
Yeah.
you're escaping those limitations, those cycles.
Yeah. And maybe with some awareness, some compassion,
Right.
a whole lot of practice.
Always practice.
We can turn that escape room into like a room with a view.
Now you're talking. A room with a view. What a great way to put it.
A view of a life lived with more presence, more purpose, more peace.
That's what it's all about.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this: what if the key to breaking free from those patterns, those karmic loops, isn't about reaching some perfect state of enlightenment? What if it's about being more present, more aware, more compassionate, right here, right now?
Maybe it's not about the destination, but about how we travel.
Exactly. The journey might be long. We might spin on that samsara merry-go-round a few more times.
Right. There might be a few more loops.
But even a small shift can make a difference.
100%. Don't underestimate the power of a small change.
So next time you find yourself on repeat, hitting replay on that same old pattern, remember, you have the power to choose something different. Until next time on the deep dive, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep breaking free.